Hey Gators, I want to thank you for joining or viewing our October workshop on why finding balance is important. This is the first part in a two-part series of workshops. Both our workshops in October will be part of Balance in Your Life. In these workshops, we will discuss why balance is important to find and also how to find balance in your busy life. We understand that balance is hard to accomplish. We are hoping through this series that you not only learn why balance is vital, but also give you a few techniques that you utilize to obtain balance. Let's get started on our first part of a two-part workshop series on why balance is important in your life. Per our norm, we will start with letting you know of our objectives for this workshop. These are the areas where we hope to touch upon over the next 20 minutes or so. Firstly, we want to discuss the areas of our lives that we must balance. Although these seems obvious, there are some that people forget take up portions of our daily lives. By defining what takes up our time, we begin to prioritize and utilize time management. Next, we provide two different ways to explain the same information. With that in mind, we'll start by providing you with percentages of our daily lives that are taken up by our different areas. Some people may learn best from this type of data. These percentages will explain the portions of our day that are devoted to our different tasks. In case percentages don't jive with you, we will also provide data on how many hours per day are spent on each respective area. This can help some break down their day in a schedule type format. By knowing how our hours are spent, we can determine how to best manage our time to hopefully achieve balance. Although these will not be exactly how your day is broken up, they are the averages from government websites regarding college students. Armed with this information, we'll then take it to the next step. We will discuss how we feel stretched too thin. This correlation from our first three objectives will make sense. I think many of us will feel this way, at least some of the time, if not most of the time. This feeling of being stretched too thin or not being balanced will have negative consequences on our lives. As a perfect segue, we will lastly discuss the effects of not being balanced. As expected, these will be negative. No one wants to exhibit any of these symptoms, but most of us probably do. Some of us may even feel most of these consequences. This information is not to scare you, but cause action to find balance in our busy lives. So what are we balancing in our lives? So many things take up our time. We don't just wish there was more time in the day. We try to find more time in our day. Although there are many smaller things that take up our time, we will start by breaking down a few big aspects. Obviously, you are all college students. Your schooling takes up a large portion of your day. This can be from your classes or trio activities or looking into transferring. Your educational endeavors are a major portion of your daily life that takes up your time. Another area of your life that you have to make time for is your work. The amount of time you spend on this can fluctuate. It can be significant if you work part-time. It can still be significant if you work part-time. Gig workers are becoming more prevalent in today's workforce. Many of us work as a gig worker to help us financially. This could also include spending time looking for a job, working on an internship, updating your resume, or it could be time you spend volunteering to bolster your resume. Many times we feel we spend most of our days at our jobs and doing job-related tasks. The last big area of your life that you must find balance for is your family or socialization time. Again, this is an important area of our lives as it can entail our children, our spouses, our parents, our family we need to take care of, friends to stay in touch with, etc. With so many relationships to continually keep cultivated, it can take much of our time. Our family can be a full-time job without the financial reward. The amount of time you spend taking care of your household and all those members takes a real balancing act. These are just three major areas of your life. There are many other smaller portions that take up more time than you think as well. We'll get into some of those in the next few slides. Our first slide on data, our first slide is on data where our time goes is based on percentages from your day. These percentages are provided by the government agency of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. These may not be how your day is broken up, but this is the average for college students. The largest portion of your day is spent sleeping. 1/3 or 33% of our day is spent in sleep. Our next largest percentage is work. This can fluctuate by how you are working. As a full-time employee, this could be another 33% of your day. As a part-time employee or gig employee, it could be around 16% of your day. This is just the time spent at work, not the time getting ready for work or traveling to and from work. The next major areas are all around 10% of our days. This can be our school-related tasks, socialization or family time, and then finally our leisure time. Our leisure time could consist of time spent on social media, reading, watching something, or exercising. It is a very broad term and can fluctuate based on our likes or hobbies. We all must eat and drink to stay functioning. On a normal day, this takes roughly 4% of your day. Spread out over 3 meals a day and all the water breaks. It is eating, drinking. That is doing in 4%, that's doing that eating and drinking very quickly. Our exhibit on the right, our graph, shows that 85% of college students work while enrolled in college. These are two huge undertakings at once, both college and working. It is no wonder most college students feel stretched too thin. This figure was provided by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and we got it off the Daily Bruin. Again, the percentages previously stated are just figures based on the average and will not probably be your exact numbers. For those of you that comprehend better when calculating our hours spent on something, our next slide will discuss how our day is broken down based on the hours spent on that task. These figures are again compiled from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. These are based on full-time students who are between the ages of 15 and 49. It was compiled from data from the last decade. Firstly, it states on average that people are getting 8.8 hours of sleep per 24 hours. I don't know about you, but I might get 8 hours of sleep one time per week. This is something I am trying to work on as I know how important it is to the rest of my day. It states that educational activities is roughly 3.5 hours. Some days, like when we have multiple assignments due and have to spend time studying, it can be more, and other days it can be less. This is an average of 3.5 hours per day. Next is the one that can fluctuate the most. It states 2.5 hours are spent on work. Some of us can spend 8 hours while working full-time. Some can work 4 working part-time. Some may even work full-time with a gig job and be searching for a different job and spend 12 hours on work. When one of these hours adjusts, we will have to make up for it in different areas of our lives. Eating, drinking takes up 1 hour per day. I may only get 2 meals a day, but they take up more than 1 hour. There's also travel. This is roughly 1.5 hours. This could be to and from work, or taking our kids to their activities, or to run errands, or to visit people. Whenever you're on the move, this counts towards travel time. We all must get ourselves ready for our day or any other activity we are obligated to do. This grooming time, showering, shaving, hygiene, getting dressed, etc., takes up almost 1 hour of our day. There's also leisure time that takes up 4 hours of our day. This was one I had to reflect on. Do I really have 4 hours per day where I am exercising, watching TV, reading, or spending time with my family? Maybe, or maybe this is where I take from when I get busy in other areas of my life. Lastly, they have just over 2 hours for other. I assume this section can be different for different people. Maybe it is chores like cooking, cleaning, or laundry. For those that like to see how a day is broken down by time, this graph is a great for you. As a reminder, these are just averages and will not reflect your day exactly. Now that we know where our time is being spent, we are going to shift on why these aspects make us feel like we are stretched too thin. As you're all EGC students, we will start with all the things that are fighting for your time as a college student. Completing our assignments are a major part of academic life. These can be discussions, both the original post and then replying. Also activities, papers, exams, etc. These all have different amount of time that they take up, but usually we all have more than one of them due each week. To know how to answer our many different assignments, we have to read either the textbook, the module readings, or find articles. This reading can consume large portions of our time, especially if you are like me and do not read very fast. Especially when we have quizzes and exams, we will also spend time studying. This can be for many hours and during specific times like midterms or finals. It can take up all of our free time. Going back through our notes and other materials is very time consuming. Lastly, we at the Tree of Scholars program also provide you with appointments, workshop, events, and other related topics. These, although helpful, are also consuming some of your daily time as well. Many of our days can be consumed with work. If we are part-time, it can be a portion of our day. If we are full-time, it can be around 1/3 of our day. We may also have a side hustle to make sure we are meeting our financial obligations. As shown earlier, 85% of college students are working while enrolled in college. Some jobs are great while we attend school. Others we have to work around school, around our job. These are just the hours spent at work, not the travel to and from the hours or the hours we spent off the clocks, but still working. Work can make us feel stretched too thin, especially if we are physically or mentally exhausted from our jobs. Our other big section is our family obligations. This can differ for each student. We all have family that takes up our time. This could be a dinner, phone calls, or having children who we have to care for. We may have to care for children, parents, or other relatives. This could mean caring for all of their needs. We have events for our family. This could be taking our children to their activities or going to watch our family perform. We all have chores around the house. This could be cleaning, laundry, cooking, or a host of other things that are needed in our households. We also need to take care of our mental health. Do we exercise or journal or seek counseling or spend time in meditation or watching TV or health or socializing with friends, excuse me. All these household, family, socialization activities, all these household slash family slash socialization activities can take up so much of our time, they feel like a full-time job. We feel stretched so thin just on these parts of our lives, not to mention all the other areas that go into it. Remember the grooming, the traveling, the sleep, the leisure. We didn't even add those into these. We can feel pulled in different directions all at once. Now that we know we are pulled in too many directions, how does this affect us? Not being in balance can have consequences for us in our lives. First, obviously, we will feel exhaustion. This is pretty obvious. When we feel like we have to be doing too many things, it is going to either physically or mentally run us down. On top of that, when we are trying to accomplish many things in a set amount of time, we tend to cut into our sleep. No matter how much we know a good night's sleep is important to everything, we still cut into our sleep to make sure we get our other tasks done. I know I am not the only one who has pulled an all-nighter to make sure my work is done on time. This will lead to exhaustion. We will also become stressed when stretched too thin. When we feel we don't have enough time to accomplish all we need to do, it usually leads to us being stressed. We're worried about not getting things done that is constantly on our minds. This stress can manifest itself in poor performance, unhealthy consequences, or taking it out on those we love or those that don't deserve it. Speaking of poor performance, we tend to be forgetful when out of balance. With so much on our plates, It is easy to forget tasks, or aspects of everything. I think of times when in a rush to get my many things done that I did not do laundry, or that my schoolwork was missing a source, or my real work, um, I, or at my real work, I got an email that I just forgot to even respond to. This forgetfulness was always due to feeling like I had too much to do and not enough time. As stated earlier, stress has negative health consequences. Some of the health consequences that being stretched too thin include heart problems, insomnia, mental illness, among many others. These health concerns alone are enough to make me make sure I get my life in balance. Not finding balance in your life can create the stress that wreaks havoc on your health. But hurting my sleep will only continue to keep this in a cycle of no balance and health concerns. When we have too much going on in our lives, we tend to reduce time in the areas where there is no quantitative measure. Due to that, we tend to we stay in to complete schoolwork and go to work. We reduce our sleep and also going out to spend time with friends and family. This lack of family and friend times can hurt our balance. If we are always spending time doing work or school, our minds are never turning off to do the things we enjoy. As stated previously, this will hurt us in our health and also with our relationships. Okay, now we will watch a short video to bring home some of the consequences of not having a balanced life.
It's no secret that I'm a time lord. Scheduling, planning, time management, these are my strengths. But with every strength, there is a flip side. So, though I can schedule myself within an inch of my life and be prolific as all hell, I can also spread myself way too thin and realize it way too late. Oh no, wait, no, I don't like this. So, having been someone who takes on too much too often, here are the signs that I look for that usually trigger this realization for me and some helpful ways to adjust. Number 1, you're exhausted all the time. Whenever I find myself exhausted all the time, I try to always schedule relaxation. Whether that means I have to cancel or reschedule a previous commitment, it's worth it because if you're dead tired, you're not going to do anything productive. 2, you're stressed out all the time. Whenever I'm stressed out, I know that means I have to slow down. So my favorites right now are drinking a cup of tea and going for a small walk outside, or sitting down and petting my cats for 5 minutes. Because normally when you get really stressed out, it also comes with headaches, right? So you really just have to slow down and breathe. 3, you forget to eat. Oh, it's 6 p.m. already? Time for breakfast. Don't forget to eat. I do this all the time, and it'll be like so late in the day, and I like feel really upset and sad and angry, and I'm like, why do I feel this way? And then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to eat. Don't do this. 4, you're forgetful and drop the ball on things. I hate whenever I'm not at the top of my game. If I'm missing meetings or I'm forgetting things that are said in emails, I know that it's time for me to take a look at everything that I'm doing and start trimming some stuff. Because if you're doing everything horribly, you don't want to be doing it at all. 5, you wish for the sweet release of death, or at least a nap. Please, time. Just slow down or stop, and I swear I will worship you as the one true God of all gods. I don't want to get up. This one's really hard for me. My tendency is to stay up all night and try to finish all the work that I have to do, but now I'm trying to go to sleep at a decent hour and just wake up earlier and more refreshed to finish it, because lack of sleep is a nightmare, and you become a monster for the rest of the day. I want to do everything all the time, but life is long, you have to pace yourself. Realistically, you can accomplish 3 to 5 goals every day. And it is quality over quantity. You want to be giving 100% of yourself to everything that you're doing, not 10% to a bunch of stuff because you've taken on too much. I hope this helps. I'm Anna Akana. Stay awesome, Gotham. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's episode. I love learning. Whether it's taking a pole class, an aerial class, learning a new instrument, or even just knitting.
I like how she blends this tough topic with some comedy and also leads into our next workshop by detailing some helpful ways to overcome this lack of balance. I want to thank you for joining or viewing our October workshop on why you need balance in your life. I hope you will able to learn something from this workshop. I hope maybe you're noticing one of the symptoms and it will help you lead to our next workshop. So please be on the lookout for some warning signs of not having your life in balance. In a few weeks, we will conclude our series on balance with our second October workshop on how to find balance in your life. Please don't forget to complete the ungraded evaluation to earn participation for viewing this workshop. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to any TRIO Scholars staff member, but my email is dtomes@egcc.edu. It's there on your screen, and I hope you have a balanced life and utilize your finite amount of time wisely.